Welcome back. In South Sudan, a coalition of women groups want their leaders to commit to lasting peace and increase participation of women in all peace and development processes. Well, this comes as a meeting meant to revive the country's peace process continues in Addis Ababa. Despite several agreements, fighting has rumbled on in South Sudan with barely any break since the civil war that erupted at the end of 2013.
South Sudan's women activists are calling for an end to conflict in the country as delegates hold a forum in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa in an attempt to jumpstart the peace process. Members of the South Sudan Women Coalition for Peace also used the meeting to demand an increase in the participation of women in all peace and development processes. The coalition, which represents refugee and diaspora communities, released a statement on the sidelines of the talks, calling for a 35% allocation in all upcoming processes.
We're wearing white today because we want to tell our leaders said it is a time for them to decide for our country, to decide for the peace. This is what the South Sudan people need.
Despite several agreements and ceasefires, fighting has rumbled on in South Sudan with barely any break since the civil war erupted at the end of 2013, just 2 years after independence.
The conflict which occurred in South Sudan since 2013 has affected women and children and elderly persons. It is continuing. The suffering of the innocent women and children, it is continuing. And up to now, majority of the South Sudanese people has lost hope.
The government and rebel groups signed the latest ceasefire in December in the Ethiopian capital, aiming to revive a pact reached in 2015. But the truce was violated within hours. The forum in Addis has been organized by the regional East African group, IGAD.
South Sudanese stakeholders asked to be alone and continue the consultations among themselves. We agreed to it, and since yesterday we have an intra-South Sudanese consultations going. And so far as I can see, it's going very well, and it will be very beautiful and recommendable, and this will make the people of South Sudan very happy and very proud if the South Sudanese, without any interventions from outside, could come to a solution and lead their country into peace and stability.
South Sudan's conflict has forced almost 2.5 million people to seek refuge in Uganda, Kenya, Sudan, Ethiopia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Central African Republic.
Let's take you now to Nigeria, where the Catholic Mission is holding a nationwide prayer and peaceful protest today. It is in line with the directive from the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria for all its members to partake in the exercise and supplication to God for the killings of innocent souls in Benue State, particularly the murder of 2 Catholic priests and laity during Mass. Earlier, Catholic faithful in Edo State, Oyo, Benue, Lagos, and other parts of the country are already on the streets marching peacefully with placards. The peaceful protest coincides with the burial of the 17 church members and the 2 priests killed during a mass in Benue State. The Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Alfred Adewale Martins, tells us more on the reasons for the demonstration.
Today, priests and the 17 people who were murdered in Benue diocese are being buried. And the Catholic bishops have directed that in all dioceses have the celebration of prayer and a procession, a peaceful procession in solidarity have been killed. But not only those who are being buried today, but as an expression of our dissatisfaction with the state, the nation, and the inability of government to take charge and ensure that the peace and security that people deserve is given to them. We think that the government ought to have intelligence agencies that are capable of as it were, finding out are being made by these killer headsmen. This is that will be able to sniff out their plans and therefore stop them before they cause harm to people.
And a group of Nigerians under the aegis of the Christian and Muslim Interreligious Peace Foundation is asking for harmony among the two major religions in the nation. At a sensitization meeting organized by the group and the Universal Peace Federation, stakeholders also advocated the empowerment of women and youth in the country as a solution to youth restiveness, among other social vices.
It is a gathering of religious bodies in collaboration with the Universal Peace Federation, one which seeks to bridge the gap between the two major faiths, Christianity and Islam.
Peace to the nation, our nation, peace to the nation.
The aim is to foster unity and national cohesion in Nigeria by advancing the ideals of togetherness and tolerance.
On behalf of Her Excellency, I want to appeal to both Christians and Muslims.
Speakers at the event emphasized the need for enlightenment of the citizen on religious issues and for the political elite to desist from using religious differences to create violence in the country.
I wish all of us peace, happiness in our country, in Niger and in Mina. And I also want you all to pray for us in Borno, Yobe State, for what is happening.
So if we are from the same father, the same mother, Adam and Eve, which is Awawu and Adamu, according to the Quran, and Adam and Eve, according to the Bible. Am I right, my Lord? So, why the fight? Why do we dislike each other?
For the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese in Minna and the Emir of Ageye, the country's leadership must address the issues of unemployment as a major contributor to youth unrestiveness.
The person who is to lead us should be the person who should tell us the truth and not to divide us. Religion is to unite all of us and not to divide us, because we are praying to the same God. It is the same God who gives us rain, for example. And we are rejoicing now in Mina that rain came a few days ago. It's the same God, and it did not separate the Muslim farm from the Christian farm.
Once we are able to create jobs or convince our youth that their jobs abound, they should only make up their mind and do something for themselves. The better for us, and then we'll have that peace.
The participants believe that promoting unity between Christians and Muslims will indeed foster peace in the nation.
An international maritime body says the number of piracy incidents has doubled off the coast of East Africa in 2017 compared to 2016. The One Earth Future says in their annual State of Piracy report, it showed Somali criminal networks were still capable of sophisticated attacks. Its lead author says the pirate activity in 2017 clearly demonstrates that pirate groups retain their ability to organize and implement attacks against ships transiting the region. Piracy continues to pose a threat in the Gulf of Guinea despite a broad array of countermeasures implemented by coastal states and maritime security companies. While piracy off the Somali coast, usually for ransom, had dropped significantly in recent years, in part because of extensive international military patrols. At least 25 African migrants have been rescued off the coast of Brazil after 35 days at sea. Rescue officials say the migrants, who are all men from Guinea, Nigeria and Senegal, were traveling on a boat with 2 Brazilians. The Navy said in a statement that there was no immediate indication about the route they took, but that the boat was flying an Haitian flag. Local fishermen found the boat drifting off the town of São José de Ribama, south of the Amazon River. They then towed it ashore and gave food and medicine to the occupants before they were processed by police. According to Brazilian officials, the group will be put into temporary housing by the state as the police investigate if crimes against them were committed in relation to their arrival in the country. And that's Network Africa at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.